me from the start. By the way you stare, the way.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to The Low. My name is Makini Marsden. I am one of your co-hosts. I'm also an advocate for my husband, who was wrongfully convicted, Ricardo Marsden, and a designer. And Lulu?
Hey everybody, it's your girl Lulu Cameron. I love that. I am a women's empowerment speaker, foundation owner. I'm the founder of South Carolina for Restorative Justice and No More Victims, the Healing Victim Offender Dialogue. And so, we work on a lot of different things as we are loved ones to those who, one person who's incarcerated. I may have known more in my lifetime, but I do have a loved one who is incarcerated. And so what we tend to find is that, we have to fight and we have to take on many different hats in this walk. And so today we have with us Dr. Kevin Dolphin. Dr. Kevin Dolphin is an amazing, amazing man who has done some great things and continues to do great things in our communities as it relates to, just education and being a part of the solution. Dr. Kevin Dolphin is a true redemption story. He has served 15 years in the federal penitentiary for whatever reason, but he is out here making it shine. He's doing work in the institutions. He has reentry programs, and he's really active and involved. It's a pleasure to be acquainted with Dr. Dolphin. He's a very chill, cool kind of guy, and I think that's important. It's important to see our men getting out, being healthy, doing amazing things in the community, in addition to also being a husband and being committed to his family. And so that's important. And we just want to welcome you today. And we want you to just tell us a little bit about your story and your walk. Like, what made you move? What made you take? What was your defining moment when you were incarcerated that made you just say, wake up one day and say, this is this? Or what was your life like? Tell us a little bit about you so that people can understand what it is that makes people come out and just be amazing like this.
Okay. First, I want to thank you guys for having me. Don't know where to start, but what I am going to say, first I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Kevin Dolphin. I'm the founder of Breaking the Chains community/prison outreach program, where I do reentry. I also go back into the prisons, and I also go into public schools. I do work in Pennsylvania, New York, North Carolina, now South Carolina. So what we're doing, we're focusing a lot of our energy now on South Carolina. That's where I live at. I live in Columbia, South Carolina. My organization is originally based out of Pennsylvania, but like I say, we're a national organization trying to grow, and we like to network with people because we understand that, we're stronger in numbers when we have the right people that's doing the right type of work. So just starting from my childhood, I was and like many people, not everyone, I was raised in a dysfunctional family. And my mother and my father did the best that they could, because a parent can only teach a child as much as they know. A parent can't teach a child any more than they know. But one of the things that I applaud my parents for teaching me and my sisters is they taught us about God. Because from my opinion, from what I've lived through my life, when you have God as a foundation in your life, there's nothing, or higher power, or whatever you may call it, but we like to refer to him as God. But once you have those type of things and those beliefs in your life, there's nothing that you can't overcome and deal with, even in the darkest hours. Just briefly, I really don't like to talk about my past, really, but I have to touch on. When if you want to solve any problem, you have to go back to the root of it. So the root of my problem and the root of many of individuals' problems are the way that they were raised, their parents. So my parents, my mother was from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. My father was from Pensacola, Florida. They both were uneducated. So my mother used to work in the cotton fields for half a day and go to school for half a day to help take care of her family. My father and his family was so poor that in some days they ate out the garbage. That's how bad it was with my mother and my father. They grew up in the early 1940s and 50s and stuff like that. So my mother and my father, they both migrated upstate to Pennsylvania. Like many people from the South, their mother's father's grandparents, they migrated. So my mother and my father met, and this is where the story really begins. Well, their stories really were, shaped and molded them to who they were to become. But my mother and my father, they took on the drug trade. So, and I don't like to use the words, but my father was a gangster, and my mother, she was a hustler. They did what they felt was best, that they knew to take care of their family in that segregated time. So, we grew up in the trap houses, juke joints, whatever you call it. My mother and my father had them. So, but me and my sisters and brothers were never allowed around any of that. So but we've seen it. So this is one of the things that I know. You can tell a child not to do something, but when they see you or someone doing it, then 9 times out of 10 they're going to do what they see. So anyway, my mother and my father, they controlled the city where we came from, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is like 45 minutes away from Philadelphia, which is the capital of Pennsylvania, which is called Harrisburg. So at the age of 4, the police killed my father, and they tried to blame it on my mother. So going through different things, and I was actually there. So I seen certain things. So after my father was murdered, then my mother took on the drug trade, and she began to do things. And years later, I'm gonna skip because I know we don't have too much time, but
No, you go
uh,
ahead.
my mother, she eventually goes to prison. So I'm like 14 when my mother goes to prison. So, we had a lot of things. We come from the dirt, we come from the mud, but my mother got us out of the mud. But when my mother went to prison, it was just me and my sisters, and my brother had eventually got murdered as well. I had an older brother, and we didn't have anyone. We had family, but family is not always family. So eventually I did what my mother and my father did, and I took over the drug trade. I became the biggest drug dealer where we did that. Um, I grew up from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and Brooklyn, New York. Those were like the two places that I grew up in, and so by the time I was like 17, 18, I was a millionaire. I helped destroy a lot of lives. I messed up a lot of communities. But on the flip side, I also thought that I was helping people, because what I seen my mother and my father do was they could take something wrong and make it right. And that was the messed up and twisted way of thinking that I had, that many people in the drug trade or criminal activity, that's what they had. So, but again, like I said, I thank my mother and my father. We had to go to church. I don't care what my mother and my father were doing. Every Sunday, and sometimes 2 or 3 times during the week, we had to go to church. But on the other side of church, we had the trap house, speakeasy, whatever you want to call it. So as life goes on, I began to get incarcerated. So, and one of the things that I come to find out is, once that door opens, it becomes like a revolving door, and sometimes you're unable to prevent yourself from the recidivism. So, at the age of like 16, 17 or whatever it was, I went to Rikers Island, one of the worst prisons in the United States, one of the conditions, the violence, everything. So I went through that. So then I got out of that, and I just kept getting into trouble. So eventually I caught a 15-year sentence. I had did 8 years before that, and then I did 15 years after that. So, I have a wife and 2 children, 4 grandchildren, but I didn't have my grandchildren at the time. But so you can imagine, you women, I know that you can just imagine what I was putting my wife through, with her being on the other side and me being in the inside. And so, eventually that went on. But my last stint is where I began to change when I got the 15 years in federal prison. I really wanted to sit down because actually my family was tired of me going back to prison as well. You women, you get tired. You get tired. So, and it's only right. You can only ask for so much from any individual, because you guys have a life as well. So this is one of the things that I began to understand. So when I went to prison, my last term for the 15 years, I began to want to know why I acted and thought the way that I did. I began to want to know why it was 12 gentlemen that was sitting around the TV area with me. So we were talking, they were from North Carolina, South Carolina, Boston, Baltimore, New York. They were from all over the place, excuse me. And we added up the time that we had. And with us 12 men, it was over 500 years. Between 12 men. So I said, wow. So, a light bulb went on. So I began to want to know why. So, I went on a journey to first better myself, because if I don't better myself and understand myself, I'll never be able to understand and help better anyone else. So I began to study psychology, go to school, do different things. And during the course of that time, the prison that I was in was real violent, and I'm quote unquote what you would call like an OG. So I was like, and this was like 20 years ago or whatever. But I was young, but I was still considered like an OG. And prison is a place that I would never want anyone to have to experience, want anyone to have to go, because it's a whole nother element. So getting back to what I was saying, so while I was in prison, people were getting killed, people were getting stabbed. It was all type of violence going on. So one day, my counselor, she came to me, and I was sitting up in front of my cell, because like when anyone comes from where I'm from, they had to come and check in with me so that I could give them certain rules and stipulations of how the prison was ran, because you can easily get killed. So, I would guide them. So the counselor, she came to me. So she said, Mr. Dolphin, she said, I need your help. So I said, what do you need? So she said, come down to my office. So when she said, come down to her office, she said, I need something for these men to do. He said, people are getting killed, people are getting stabbed, people are getting hurt, all this type of stuff. She said, there's nothing for them to do. I need a curriculum or something I said, that's all you need? So, but I have always been a prolific writer. I could always do certain different things. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade, but I was always smart. The streets got a hold of me, and that's what pulled me away from school. And that's one of the reasons why I go back into the schools, so I could teach the youth how important education is. So within a week's time, I developed this curriculum called Back to the Future, which is a 12-step group section. It's a what do you call it? It's a discussion group for 12 sessions where me and the men, we sit down and we discuss family matters, family issues, trauma, anger management, many different things. So when me and the counselor rolled this program out, we had over a year's waiting list. This was back in 2006. So I created the first curriculum, which is called Back to the Future. It's an in-depth look at your past. It helps you deal with your present situation, and then it helps you chart a successful course to the future. So I've been teaching this program. I still teach it. I go back into the prisons and I teach it today. I've been teaching it since 2006, which is like 15 years. If I'm correct, it's like 15 years. So I've been teaching that, and I have a slew of other curriculums that I go into. I had started before COVID, I had started going into Watery prison and teaching it, and then we were going to make our way around. I think Lee County may have been one of our next stops, but we're going to hit all of them. And that's what I do. I travel to different states, and I go into different prisons as well. So this is my life work, and I may not have mentioned that. I don't think I did that during the course of me doing time. My mother mysteriously passes away in prison. So she was supposed to come home, and I was in prison. So I had all of these plans for us when she comes. She was moved to South Carolina with me and all of these things, but she mysteriously passes away.
Mm.
So this is what spurned breaking the chains. This is my mother's life work, and this is what I do to because my mother, she wouldn't want me to be upset at anyone. She would want me to fight a good fight. So this is what I do. So when I sat down in that prison cell, and I was talking to God, because I couldn't tell you that I created uh, the name Breaking the Chains, because I didn't. So, but God told me, he was talking to me like I'm talking to you guys, and he said, this is what you're going to do. All of those places that you caused that nonsense, that you messed up lives, that you're going back to those same places, and you're going to break those chains that you helped shackle those people with. So now, not only are you going to help the people that you messed up their lives, but you're going to help their children as well. So that's what I do. Like I said, I go into the schools. I send kids. Well, I give scholarships away each year. My first scholarship was in Sumter in South Carolina last year. We're planning to give the second one away again this year. So any school that accepts our program, to the 12th graders, we give a scholarship away. So in a nutshell, that was it. I know I got kind of long-winded, but
No,
that
no,
was it.
no, no,
That's
no.
amazing.
That's an amazing story, and thank you so much for sharing it. And let me say this, and I'm gonna let McKinney talk. It is so good for us to hear our men speaking. It is so good. You don't like to talk about your past, but people have to. A lot of what's going on in society is people have nobody to emulate to. So even though you are this amazing person right now, that's not always your story. And so what our youth look to and what people's parents don't always understand is, who is my child connecting to? And these kids have a difficult time connecting to people who they cannot relate to. So I thank you for being open enough to share your story. I think there always needs to be room at the table for Black men, especially, to share their pain as well as their process of healing, because that's something that we don't talk about. We don't, it's always, healing is important, but it's never okay for Black men to show any signs or symptoms where they weren't like, woo, 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 beating at the chest. And so, you sharing that story, sharing your life story, I'm sure that it has touched a lot of people, not just on this show tonight, but just in general, because, even in working with you just this short period of time, I'm telling you, this is a busy man. And there's never a time where I feel like if I reach out to you, except for when you and your wife was on your sabbatical, that we'll get to the 100-day vacation in just a second. But you always make it seem like it's okay for me to come to you, ask your help. You're willing to be a part, and that's a part of the big picture of what's missing in our culture, what's missing in society. So I just want to say thank you, and kudos to you. And I'm Team Dolphin until the wheels fall off, just because you have supported me, and I appreciate that. So I'm sorry, go ahead, McKinney.
No, that's an amazing program what you're doing, because you're actually reversing the generational genocide that has been placed on our young kings. I'm a mother of a young boy who's eventually going to become a teenager and go off into manhood. And I think every single day as a Black woman, when am I going to have that conversation with him about how society views him? So the fact that you are out here giving a different impression and a different mold for these young boys to look up to is much needed, especially the fact that Black men are the highest rated incarcerated men in prison. So I commend you. Thank you so much for your programs and what you're doing. And I also wanted to ask you about your psychology degree. Like, what specifically do you study in psychology, or have you studied?
Well, I've been studying, main psychology, but child psychology. I've been studying psychology for 17 years. I've been studying child psychology for like 21, 20, 22 years. So, but my degree is in humanitarian. I'm a humanitarian. So they honored me on Capitol Hill in DC for my work. I didn't even know that they were watching me, that that they were looking at the work that I was doing. So, they honored me. The United Nations honored me. So that was real big. But psychology is well, besides music, psychology is my first love. Because it's the study of the mind, why we think and act the way that we do. Once you begin to understand yourself, you can begin to understand all things around you and why they operate the way that they do. So and that's why the programs that I teach are so important, going back into these prisons. And I also have female counselors that go into the women's prisons as well. Not in South Carolina. I'm working on that now, but in other cities and states, I do have that, because the curriculum that I have is very powerful. Because if we can't first change the way that people think, we'll never be able to change their actions, right? And this goes for legislators as well. So when I sit down at the table and I talk to some of these legislators, we have to get them to understand. Some of them have an open heart and an open mind, but some of them don't. But see, this is one of the things that I understood years ago when I stood before a judge, and the judge didn't want to hear anything I had to say. Like before you get sentenced, the judge asked you, do you have anything like so? But the judge didn't want to hear anything I had to say, because I was a menace. I can say that. But what the judge said, this was real important, and it really made me wake up and think. The judge said, you knew better, and you shouldn't have done certain things, and therefore I have to sentence you to such and such and such and such. But deep down inside, I didn't know better, because of the way that I was raised. See, I did know that I could get in trouble for it and do certain different things, but the way that I was raised became a way of life. It was normal, and like many black and brown men, and even some white, it's a normal way of life. So once you become a child, that's why. And I'm gonna say this. I do believe in God, but I'm not a real religious person. But if you ever talk to me and you have a conversation with me, you'll hear me talk about God a lot. So one of the things that my organization is founded on, this is the verse, the scripture that we're founded on, is Proverbs 22, verse 6. Raise a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. That's what my mother and my father left us, besides all the other stuff, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk to you guys today. But see, some of the legislators and the judges and all of these other, they don't understand the other side. So if we could sit down and get them to understand the other side, some of them may sway, and some of them will look at things. So when I stood in front of that judge and he told me I knew better, my sisters and everyone was sitting back there crying. I told them, don't let these people see you cry, because they don't understand. But what I had to do is I had to break that generational curse. See, we felt that my family was under a generational curse, and it was up to me to break those chains. I didn't know anything about breaking the chains. I didn't know anything about that when I sat down in that cell. And again, God, he came to me and he said, this is what you're going to do. And he said, listen, because all I knew all my life was selling drugs and hurting people and doing certain different things. That's all I knew. But I knew a little bit about business too, but all I knew was the streets, right? So he said no more of that. So, I'm just thankful. And one of the things that I'm going to say to you guys, I did not choose this work. The work chose me. Like maybe many of your husbands or your significant others, maybe the things that they're going through, they have been called to do certain works wherever they may be at. See, my mother was in prison. She did her work in prison, and I didn't even know that she was doing her work, the work that I'm doing. She was helping females get through their times, and on one of the prison walls in the prison where my mother passed away at, they have a mural painted of her on the wall. And I never knew this, but a female came home from prison, and she told my sisters about the mural. So before COVID, we were going there to see it, to teach the program, but it prevented us. But that's God willing, that's going to happen. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot, but this is my life work, and again, I'm glad that I found my purpose in life. I get the same high from doing that, what I'm doing now, as that same high when I was out there selling drugs and hanging on those corners, and I get the same feeling. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm grateful,
Yeah, and
That's
and
amazing.
I'm definitely grateful to kind of have run into you. A friend of mine introduced me to you. She said, I don't know, I think he's in South Carolina, but he does a lot of work there, and so I'm grateful for that connection. It's definitely been a blessing to me, just in everything that I've done and have been working towards in South Carolina and just all across the country, basically, right? Because we have our focal points, but honestly, like you said, once you get engulfed in this work, it I didn't choose this work. I was living in the love bubble, just going to go see my man, just happy. And when I thought something was going to happen, all this stuff with the pandemic, I was like, oh no, let me step in and step up. And so since then, I have been kind of moving and doing things a lot differently. And I've been able to help other people along the way. And, it's not always about being self absorbed. And I think what's really big and understanding is that together we make so much change. We're able to make so much change together as opposed to being one person screaming at the top of my lungs, fighting for my loved one, as opposed to fighting for change. I tell people all the time as I work with people who are incarcerated, if you could bust yourself out of prison, you would have been dead it by now. So I think it's better that we organize and structure ourselves in a way that we're working together. And, with us hosting this community summit in South Carolina on April 3rd, I think that has just been really eye-opening to see in a place where people don't usually like to come together. People don't usually like to organize. People don't usually like to cross boundaries and are very territorial. People have been very open to the concept, but again, I salute you, Dr. Dolphin, because from day one I said, hey, this is what I'm doing. I would really like for you to be a part of it. And you've been active. You haven't made any excuses. You've been steadfast in your works and just trying to help and work with me. And that's appreciated. Because I think that, and McKinney, you already know, because you do a lot in New York, how difficult it can be to organize and structure ourselves around doing this type of work, because there's a lot of people who don't believe in what we're doing. So you come up against a lot of opposition. People think that you're foolish for trying to let criminals and murderers and rapists and what have you out of prison, and they have all these ideologies because of the brainwashing that has taken place over so long. And it's refreshing. It's refreshing to see our men stepping up, showing others what it's like, what it should be like, and being the example. Because I think for a long time, it's been women on the forefront. When I first started doing this, it was always me and a gang of women. And so now I'm starting to see the brothers rising up, the men getting more involved, and not just Black men, but I'm seeing, other men as well stepping into the arena because they know that we cannot do it ourselves, and I think that ultimately, if we're able to take ourselves away from, bandwagon motives, because right now criminal justice reform is hot. It's like, the next fad or whatever. We want to be out here fighting for something. But I think that we can get trapped in a lot of rabbit holes with just kind of chasing things that don't mean anything, chasing efforts for clout instead of purpose. And I think, the one thing I'm so thankful for, I have run into some milk duds in my walk with trying to do some criminal justice reform. but I have also run into some really good, solid people, and I just, I'm consistently grateful because I'm learning from you. I'm learning from them, and we're all in this walk together. And I think that that's really important to understand that there has to be unity in this level of oppression in order for us to really overcome anything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And what are some of the things you faced getting into this industry? Because I know it's very hard when you first break out and you have a word and people do not want to listen. I know the key to success is consistency and being consistent in what you're saying and doing. Your actions have to speak a whole lot louder than your words. Um, but I think that we've all experienced looking for help in different places with different organizations and possibly getting our hopes up for something to happen, people to have this fire burning passion the way that you have. And once you get involved, you kind of see that that's not really what their agenda is, and it's not really meshing together well. So you kind of have to dig through different things, the rubbish to get to the gold, get to the real gems within this industry of reform. And I've had a lot of encounters, but just out of curiosity, have y'all experienced this? And I know I can't be the only one because we talk about unity, but it's hard. You have to get through. You have to have specific experiences with certain things to know how to unify. If you get what I'm saying.
You want to speak, Lulu, or you want to?
You could go ahead. You could go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, it's many different levels to what you're saying. If you're talking about our people unifying, because in many instances, neither one of us can do it all by ourselves. So we always need someone else to help us, whether it's within our own programs or someone else. But one of the things that I've learned when I came home from prison is that sometimes people held my past against me, right? So they held my past against me. And then even when some of the people knew that I changed, they still tried to hold my past against me. Like even today, the people that know me, some of the people, even like some of the legislators or whatever, because some of them know me, they'll swear that what I'm doing is a scam. They swear that Kevin Dolphin cannot be the individual that he claims that he is, right? No matter what I do. But guess what? I continue to do the work. I continue to do the work. It's going on 6 years. The other day was made 6 years, the 27th on my birthday, because I started my nonprofit on my birthday. It just fell on that day when they gave me the exemption and everything on my birthday. So we received the papers. But just working with those things. But one of the things that I'm gonna say for me is that when I came home from prison, see, people can hold your past against you, but your past can also be a gift. Because when I came home, some of the legislators and things that knew me from my past, this is one of the things that my mother and my father always taught me, is your word is all you got. Your word, you live by your word. If I give Lulu my word, that's what I'm gonna stand on. She got my word. So when I came home from prison and I told these people that this is what I was going to do, that I was going to be involved in helping this because they needed the help, because so many people were getting killed, they stood on it and they gave me a chance. But then there were those other people that didn't. And then us as a people, I'm going to say this is where we come into, and I seen it in South Carolina. This is where I come into the thing. And I'm going to get into my book as well. I'm going to get into my book. But I'm also going to say we are plagued, and I think you guys may have heard this before if you haven't, the Willie Lynch syndrome.
Yeah.
Our people are plagued by this Willie Lynch syndrome that we don't want to see it the other more than the other. It doesn't even have to be financial. It's just like, and if they know what I know, you know, and you can have the limelight if that's what you want. But they be seeking and they search for this thing, so they think us as a people that we don't want someone to see someone else doing more than what we may be doing or whatever. And that's where I come and I find that you know, it makes it more difficult for us to do the work that we need to do and come together. So that's why when I see women, or when I see men that's really about this work, I embrace it. And I'm gonna say this before I be quiet. Lulu, you know, having the chance to have spoken with your husband, Nasir, very powerful man. I could just feel it, even though I never met him personally, but just talking to him in our conversation, he actually knew a couple of the people that I knew as well, and I never met him. But just talking with him, he's a soldier. He's a general. He's a general, as a matter of fact. And you know, those type of men, whether on the inside or outside or wherever, they are an asset. They are a value. And you women, you two guys right here, you know, Miss Lulu, I just met you. I've never met you in person, but I know and I could feel from your energy that you're sincere about this work and your consistency and the thing that we just talked about, being consistent. So with that being said, as long as you're consistent, no one can stop you. Consistency, if that's your foundation, when this door closes, you know, we have to go under it. We might have to go around it. We have to go over it. I'm gonna be quiet after I say this. I've been home 6 years. I have re-entry houses. I'm into re-entry. So I have re-entry houses for men and women in different cities and states. And I just opened my first one up in Sumter. So what I do is I apartment buildings for displaced and battered women and children. We have, like I said, re-entry houses for men and women, and I've done all of this since I've been home
in 6 years.
In 6 years. But it's not on the account of me, because I can't take no credit. God opened doors for me, but I didn't receive any like government funding, government money. I'm a hustler. If a person can only sell drugs, then that's what they are. They're a drug dealer. But if you're a hustler, you can sell water, you can sell anything, you know what I'm saying, to get what you need to get to take care of your family, but the right way. Don't do it the wrong way, because if you're doing it the wrong way, you're just creating what I'm going to say is bad karma for yourself. But when we come together as a people and as a unit, there's nothing that we can't do. There's no wall that we can't climb. There's no bar, no gate, no chain that we can't break. Anything.
Yes.
So I'm going to be quiet on that.
No. Thank you so much. I mean, and I appreciate you and your kind words. But my husband is thebomb.com. I like to tell folks that anyways, you know. And I like to shut them down if they think they're going to think anything other than. So, you know, I think that it's just refreshing. I feel like I'm finally getting to a place where I'm connected to the right people. You know, because like you said, people can try to come against you and you have to recalibrate. Somebody can jump in and take your, you know, just take your spirit to another level. You could be like, did she just snatch my whole body? You know what I mean? So I've had some really serious experiences, and I've had some experiences where people feel like they are going to get over on the lives of other people, you know what I mean, at the cost of other people, you know what I mean, like, oh, here I am, and now I want to be big. And so I always tell people, I'm not trying to be Harriet or Frederick. And like somebody told me, Rosa Parks wasn't trying to be famous either. She was just tired. So I think that what I have established in myself is that I have a voice and people listen to me, you know, whether it's a legislator. Like I said, today I was on the phone with legislators. I was on the phone with the sheriff. I was on the phone with the bishop. I was on the phone with the former Department of Corrections, you know, director, John Osmond. And so it's like, I am able to articulate for a group of people who can't always fight for themselves. And that was the one thing that I saw coming into this life, because I didn't, you know, my husband's been in prison for 23 years. So I knew him before when we were younger, you know, we were like childhood sweethearts or whatever. But this is a life that I chose because he's an amazing man. And so as I began to understand my power and my purpose in all of this, it has really helped me, because what I remember saying is that, and I was very judgmental. And that's why I think that education is the most important key to helping people change ideas and perspective around what incarceration truly means and where it derives from, dating back to slavery. And so I'm very passionate about being able to talk to people who, the people who I stand in line with at these institutions may not be able to communicate with, may not be necessarily heard. Because even when I talked to, John Osmond today, he basically told me that, because I told him, I said, one of the representatives told me that people never show up for the incarcerated. He said, that's not true. People show up all the time. It's just the wrong people. They're, have the wrong agenda. They don't have the right articulation. They don't have the right conversation. They don't have what it is that's catching somebody's attention. They have, self-absorbed ideas that they're focused on when they come. It's like when you get in front of somebody in a position of power, you immediately want to talk about your person and what you need for your person instead of addressing the issues on a whole. Mm-hmm. And so I hear that and I receive that. And just as I've been able to kind of move in this walk, I've definitely tried to make sure that, I have selfish ambition. I want my husband home. I want my husband free. But in the same token, I know that I have the voice, I have the power, I have the ability to make good connections that are able to kind of produce change, whether it's through legislation, whether it's through statutes, whether it's through organization, or just giving people hope. And I think that what people have to understand is that everybody has a different walk. Everybody can have a different purpose and a different calling behind being an activist, an advocate, or, just someone who is helping to organize us as a people. Because like you said, a lot of us have Willie Lynch syndrome. I can honestly say when I'm happy for people, I'm happy for them. I want to see people do great and do well. And I know that my turn is, somewhere in the bush somewhere, it's coming if it has not already arrived. And so I think that the more that people can see that you are a genuine person who's really has everyone's best interest at heart, you can kind of work from there and you'll attract your right people. I always say like attracts like. So you always attract people from where you are vibrationally, or, like your energy, is who you attract. You talk to some people and you be like, oh, I don't know if I want to talk to that person again. But you also talk to some people and you can get off the call and be like, man, I think Dr. Dolphin, when I confirmed him for our event, I was like texting my friend like, yes, he's in. And he's like, yes, I am in. And I accidentally texted him the wrong message, but it was cute. So I'm just grateful. And I think that it really speaks a lot to our generation. We've seen our ancestors marching and boycotting, and we've seen people marching and boycotting as well. Not so much boycotting because Black folks don't like to give up nothing, but marching, and protesting. And I think now people are understanding. We've seen it in California. We've seen it in Georgia. People understanding that in Alabama. We've seen how people understand that there's power in our unity. As I come to a legislator as just myself representing the masses, it doesn't say as much as it does when you see 600 of us standing in the same circle, fighting for the same thing, having the same conversation. And so, that's why I've elected to join, different coalitions. That's why, this show itself is sponsored by the National Plus Coalition. It's a group of people looking to get together to educate the masses on various levels of this life, criminal justice reform, and the need in our society and in our country. So I'm so thankful. This is great. I really feel good about today. I don't know what else somebody got to say, but I will say, and I ain't gonna let this go, let's talk about your book in 1 second. But also, since this is The Low and it's about the loved ones, and I know you feel like you talked our head off, but we really enjoyed you. Um, Tell us about your wife. You know, y'all did a vow renewal. It was so super cute. They've been on a worldwide tour on vacation,
Oh, that's
and
nice.
it's really important to see that that unit. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
really important to see. And you know, the one thing that, you know, you do acknowledge, Dr. Dolphin, is that, you know, you took your wife through some things. You know what I mean? But it's good to see you appreciating her and showing her value. And so, you know, just as a wife of an incarcerated king, it gets me excited to see your redemption story and to see you and your wife moving about and smiling and being happy. So tell us a little bit about your girl and how she held you down, or, you know, your story with that. But let's talk about If These Prison Walls Could Talk as well, because that book is really dope and I love it. And apparently so does the rest of the world. So
Thank you. Well, one of the things I'm gonna say is this. When I got married, I got married on my 18th birthday. I was a boy in a man's shoes. You know, I had a lot of money. I had a lot of things. I didn't have a mother. So I was looking for someone that could love me like a mother. You know, my wife is 5 years older than me. So, you know, we got married at a young age. We were, you know, dating years before that. We had you know, I got a son and a daughter. So, you know, being young, going through different things, like you just said, and I shared it with you before, you know, I took my wife through a lot of things, a lot of growing pains. So, you know, we grew, and I was going to prison a lot and doing certain different things. And one of the things that I understand, and I'm not a marriage counselor, but I do family counseling, right? I do that, especially for men and women who come home from prison who's trying to reunite with their family, reconnect, because there's many things that we from the opposite sides don't understand about one another that you need to, because it's a job. And I know that you guys both know that it's a job and it can get trying some at times, but you know, you have to keep fighting and keep, you know, anything that you want in life is worth fighting for. So anyway, me and my wife has been married the other day made 31 years, right?
yes.
So during the battle, I was locked up. Of the 31 years of our marriage, I was locked up 26 of those years.
Mm,
So I know you can relate. So you know, it was trying some at times, you know, but we had to fight for what we wanted, you know, and then at the end of the road, you know, we were able to reunite and live out some of our dreams that, you know, we always hoped and that we talked about. So my wife is a very amazing woman. She's originally from Brooklyn, New York. Um, she does hair. She loves to do hair. That's what she does. She's been doing hair for like about 30 years now, so she's real good. She's a real nice person, and hopefully one day you guys will be able to, you know, to be able to meet her. That would be real good. She's a soldier, and she's very outspoken, and she helped me through a lot of my darkest times, and she still helps me through things, because we need, as men and as women too, we need that balance in our lives. Without that balance in our lives, it's easy for us to go left when we should go right. But
yeah.
I'm so grateful for God that you know, he put a
Bless you with a
special
life
woman.
partner. Yeah.
Yes, he put a special woman in my life. So my wife's name is Val, and you know, I love her. I'm gonna just say this, and then I'm gonna go on to the book.
Yeah.
Back in 1994, I had a skirmish with the police. So and something happened. So I was in a coma. So when I went into the coma, um, I had died. They brought me back to life, and so that was in the coma. So they told my wife, they told her to come down and see me because I wasn't going to make it. So she came down, and I know when you're in a coma, you can hear, but you can't speak. You can't. So when she came to see me, she spoke life back into me. So she told me how much her and my daughters needed me. So I had a lot of money and stuff back then. So I knew that they would be all right, but I was tired of putting them through what I was putting them through. But when she spoke, when she told me how much they needed me, it gave me the life back. So once the EKG machine, once she told me, it started really going crazy. So they thought that she did something to me. So they made her leave. So she said she thought that was going to be the last time she ever saw me alive again. But within those 6 hours that they told her I was going to die, I woke up. I woke up. And it's a story. I wrote a book about this too, but it's a story, right? And it's real deep. But that is my that's my life partner, and you know, God put her there for me, and that was one instance where she wasn't there, I wouldn't be here right now. So she helped speak that back. And you guys, man, and what I'm gonna say to this, no, I'm gonna say to you guys, no matter how trying some, I don't like the word hard. Everything, words have power, and I know you guys know this. So when you use certain words, it sticks to you. So please, I don't use the word hard. So no matter how trying some it may get at times, stick to your guns, man. Fight for what you want, and don't ever give up. And you know, God's will be done in your lives. No, you know, I don't know the outcomes or whatever it may be, but His will be done. And as long as you search for that love and peace, I know that you'll find it. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. So, but this is my
Power of a praying woman.
yeah. This is my fourth book that I've written, but this is the first book of this nature. So this book is called "If These Prison Walls Could Talk, What Would They Say?"
Yes.
Just imagine if the prison walls could talk. What would they say? Would they talk about all of the injustice that has been handed down for the past 400 years and some change? Would they talk about all of the men who wish they could change but are scared to change because of all of the violence and things that goes on behind those walls? Would they talk about the families that come would they talk about the outside families that come to visit their so-called it could be a male or female, when they come to visit them, how the guards may treat them at times? Would they talk about all of these things? Would they talk to the legislators and tell them how much there is a need for change? So these prison walls could talk is geared towards everyone. And I have a legislator, Miss Patty Kim, Representative Patty Kim. She gave me a review for this book. She actually read the book, and she knew my past. I sat down with her, and she understand it. And I have some clergy that has also given me a review of the book. I have a professor from Penn State University who also gave me a review on this book, and it talks about everything. It helps men and women who are involved in criminal activity or may have a warped way of thinking, how to change that way of thinking, how to look at things in a different light. And it also gives family members a different view on what men and women may go through while they're on the inside. So this book is geared towards everyone, and everyone needs to read this. Young adults to older adults, they really need to read this book because it's going to help us change. And I have, like I said, a lot of legislators and things like that have read the book, have bought the book, and we are getting them to see things in a different light. So if anyone who's listening or whatever, this paperback book right here, it only costs $7.99. $10.07 if I send it out, if I ship it to you. But like I tell men and women in prison, if you or family members, if you can't invest $7.99 in trying to help your loved one change their mindset, then what are you going to do? You're going to send them money for sneakers. Those sneakers are going to wear out. You're going to send them money for food. They're going to eat that food and they're going to be hungry again. But this book is a wealth of knowledge that will last us forever. Yeah. It will last us forever. So please, if you guys are out there listening, if you're interested, I don't know if you want me to give my information now, Ms.
Where can they find the book?
Okay, well, I'm on Amazon, but I would like you, and Barnes and Noble, some Barnes and Nobles, but I would like you to get the book from me, right? So you can reach me. You can email me, dolphin.btc@gmail.com. You can also inbox me if you're friends with me on Facebook. If not, send me a friend request. I'm Kevin Dolphin. Dolphin is DOLPHIN. You can also go onto my website, which is Breaking the Chains. Chains is with a Z. .webs WEBS.com. So you can reach out and I'll definitely reach back because I want everyone to read this book, and I also donate books. I've just donated some books to one of the juvenile correctional facilities in New York. I just donated about 5 or 6 books to them, and I just donated some books to an organization in Manning the other day. So this is what I like to do.
Doing the work, doing the work.
Yeah.
So
Well,
this is what it is. If these prison walls could talk.
yes, everybody, go ahead and pick up your copy of If These Prison Walls Could Talk with Dr. Kevin Dolphin. You can send him a friend request on Facebook. He is friendly. And you can also email him at dr, like Dr. K, Kevin, drkdolphin.btc@gmail.com. So everybody go ahead and pick up a copy. It's fairly cheap. Send a book to your loved one so that they can fill themselves with some education and knowledge. Dr. Dolphin, we thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's just, how you eat a good meal and you done had just a little bite of dessert and you like, you feel good. So, I just want to thank you for coming on the show tonight, talking with us, walking us through your story of redemption and healing and now service. We appreciate you. We value you. We can't tell our Black brothers enough that how much they are appreciated, necessary, and needed in this world. And so I just want to say thank you from the Low and from the Plus organization. And we look forward to I definitely look forward to working with you and seeing you at the summit in April for sure.
I'd like to thank you guys for welcoming me.
Absolutely. Well, that's it, ladies and gents.
I will close with saying Pure Legacy is having a women's empowerment event on March 27 in Brooklyn, New York. And all the proceeds are being donated to that organization for the girls so that they can have their curriculum. And if you have any questions at all on what we're doing, because it's a lot and I'm trying to keep it short, go to purelegacy.org. You can also visit our website, my website at Forever-Foreign. That's my clothing brand. And Bittersweet NYC, if you guys need any assistance with some wrongful conviction campaigns or anything of that matter, you can definitely check us out there. Lulu, I know you got...
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'll just share one thing. The one thing that's really big and sitting on my heart right now is the South Carolina for Restorative Justice Summit coming up in Una, South Carolina on April 3rd from 1 to 4. Come out, bring your friends, bring your family members. If you're a part of a bike club, a car club, a social club, we need to stand together so that legislators and people in the community know how serious we are about wanting and pursuing change in our communities and in our states. And so I just want to say thank y'all again. It's been a great show, and we'll see you next time on The Low. Good night.